Hi everyone, I'm Ben and this is Lucy, and we've been full-time on the road for about 4 years now and travelling through Europe for about 3 years. A lot of people ask us about our budget and how much it costs to live on the road and how we afford to travel, how we make money. So we decided after a lot of thinking that it's probably time to do a video talking about it. Most people think that travelling costs quite a lot of money, but actually it really doesn't cost much at all. So hopefully you'll be able to see just how much it can cost you in this video.
So we're going to give you guys first a breakdown of how much we budget, how much we actually spend. Then we're going to talk about the differing living costs by country, because we've travelled through 28 different countries over the last 3 years and there's quite a bit of variation between them. Then we're going to talk about our income, how we make money, and also a few things about like the unexpected costs and stuff you can't really plan for on the road.
So let's start with our budget rundown. So our maximum budget that we always kind of try and stick to on these trips away is £20 per day, which equates to about £600 per month. That goes for our food, our fuel, any adventures that we go on, and the occasional meal out if we fancy treating ourselves, laundry, all of this sort of stuff as well. It was all encompassed into that £20 per day.
Quite often we actually end up under budget. We've been as low as like £400 a month when we're not travelling much. So really how much we spend is all relative to how much travelling we do. The living expenses are pretty low in a van because we never eat out. We always cook our own meals. We save money in every way possible. The only thing that really costs us a lot of money is the fuel. So it kind of depends on how many miles we're doing. If we're doing a lot of miles in a week, we'll probably end up over budget.
All comes down to mileage, yeah.
Yeah.
On our first trip away, we spent a lot of time just sunbathing on the beaches on the west coast of France, and we hardly did any driving, so actually we were spending like a couple of pounds a day, if that, on our food alone. The biggest expenses, literally is just the fuel, so we really clamp down on the money on food because we normally cook a big 3 or 4 day pan of something, and then just eat little bits of it as we go, and it's like one big meal and it's so cheap. And all of our food is vegetarian as well, so that makes it even cheaper for us to eat. We
bulk it out with staples like rice and potatoes and bread, really cheap things to fill up on as well, because every bit of money we save is a little bit more travelling we can do.
Exactly, yeah, that's the way we think about it.
So to give you guys a kind of breakdown, if we're talking £20 a day budget, that works out at about £140 a week. If we were to divide that up into the different categories, we'd probably be spending about £80 to £100 on fuel and maybe about £40 on food. Yeah. We never stay on campsites, so we've never got any expenses there. We always find free places to get water, so we don't pay for that. We have a shower in our van if we're not swimming in a lake or a hot spring or something like that. So we've really got like minimal living expenses. The main thing's the diesel. Yeah.
We also wash our own clothes in the rivers that we find because we use like biodegradable and environmentally friendly soaps and powders, which is really good for us. It saves us a lot of money on laundrettes, but every now and again we will treat ourselves to a laundrette if we've got to do all of the sheets and bedding and stuff, because it's kind of just too big to really wash anywhere else.
So that's really only every like 2 months or so. We do all the rest of the washing by hand in between. Every 2 months we'll go to a laundrette, and that's only like £8 or £10 to get all of our washing done. That's
super cheap. Yep. A lot of people also ask how many miles to the gallon we get on our fuel, and it's approximate because there's no real way of measuring it, but we get roughly 25 miles to the gallon, so it's okay.
That works out at 19.4 litres per 100 kilometres for the Europeans there as well.
We'll probably get closer to 30 on sort of main trunk roads where we're going fairly straight and flat in the same direction, but mountain roads it can probably go down below 20 miles per gallon because it's a bit of a slow old thing and it's quite heavy, but on average I'd say it's about 25, so it's not too bad at all, and a lot better than most of those American vehicles out there.
And then we've got the kind of monthly or yearly expenses, such as like insurance and breakdown cover, which we don't really tend to include in our budget. Our budget's just for the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. But we're currently paying about £500 a year for our insurance, and then we've got £160 a year for breakdown cover with RAC, and that covers us for 2 breakdowns away, which we've already used up on this trip.
We've already used up, so touch wood, no more breakdowns, else we're truly stuffed.
But I guess that kind of brings us on to the topic of like unexpected costs. And yes, you should always keep some money aside for the unexpected, for breakdowns. Sometimes you can repair it yourself. We will always try and give it a go, do whatever we can to try and fix the problem ourselves. Sometimes inevitably you do end up in a garage and it can cost you hundreds of pounds. So always make sure you've got a bit of money aside for contingencies like that, and to make sure you can get yourself home afterwards.
Yeah, and if you're interested in actually just how we've broken down in the past and how much it's cost, we've got the full expenditure on our website, so we'll leave the link in the description below for that.
We've actually made a list of like every mechanical issue we've ever had on our van, how we fixed it, how much it cost us to fix it, and the total will probably surprise you.
And believe me, it's a long old list, so make sure you've got a couple of hours to spare.
There's also a couple of other like unexpected things that you do get hit by, even if they're only small costs. One of them is toll roads. Always try to avoid them. But then when you get into countries like Greece, no offence, they do try to sting you. They will try and get you into that toll booth without you realising, and so you'll end up paying €5 or €10 unexpectedly, which doesn't seem like a lot, but again, on such a small daily budget, they can be a real big expense for us.
We've also been really careful with our insurance to get insurance that has a really good green card system, so thankfully, every country we've been to, apart from Kosovo, where it's like a local law, you have to buy a green card, we've been covered in every single country. So if you're looking to sort of venture out of the EU, I would definitely recommend finding an insurance company that will cover you in most countries, because it will add up. Border insurance, will cost probably around 150 for 2 weeks. So if you add that up for, say, 3 or 4 countries that you're not covered in, it will certainly be quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend that.
Yeah. There's also a few other things that happen, like when you're leaving the EU, for example. We travel around non-EU countries a lot in the Balkans, and so we always have to buy internet packages while we're here. Sometimes they're like really cheap. You can get 20 gigabyte for €5, for example, and then other times, like here in Albania, we've ended up spending, £20-30 on internet because it's not the cheapest here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just use like our UK internet, and we've got a really good deal. We get something like 100 gig a month on that, so that's really good for when we are in EU countries and we need to be uploading our YouTube videos.
Absolutely, yeah. And coming back to the YouTube thing, actually, so some more expenditures are Epidemic Sound, which is where all of our music comes from these days on our videos. It's copyright free, and it means that we don't have to worry about getting licensing issues from the free websites. So that's a really good thing, but it also costs us money. We have to pay for our Premiere, our video editing software, so that probably all in total adds up to about £30 a month, I reckon, at the minute. Yeah. And the internet used to upload the videos, so in total we actually probably spend more on our YouTube videos than we receive in ad revenue from our YouTube videos at the moment. I'd say we're earning probably, if I'm honest with you, about £60 to £70 a month from YouTube, which is obviously a very small amount. But it is really good, because on this trip it's like the first time we've been away where we've actually been earning money from our travels. So it's a really good kind of positive step in the right direction. Lucy's also got some writing work for a popular van page, van subscription service, so that's kind of handy as well. And
yeah, brings in a bit of money each month.
I think between those two things we're probably covering around about a third to a quarter of our costs, I would say, at the moment, which is better than nothing, and it's meant that we can actually travel for a bit longer and enjoy things a little bit more, like going out for coffees and food and stuff like this a little bit more. So it's a good step in the right direction.
It's our goal, as I'm sure it is with many people, to be able to afford to travel full-time. It's not something we managed to achieve just yet, but we're still working on all these projects and throwing ourselves out there, because if we can get to about £600 a month income, that will cover all of our costs and we can afford to travel full-time.
Pretty comfortably, yeah.
So we're working towards that.
Which is the dream, innit? It's just the dream to do that.
Yeah. Our main income comes from when we return to Cornwall to work each summer. It's super easy to find seasonal work there. You probably have more hours than you know what to do with. We end up working like 50, 60 hours a week plus, because we can just earn a lot of money in a short space of time while we're back there. And then we basically just live on our savings while we're away. Yeah.
Hospitality kind of works perfectly for us, because we just work through the summer and then we get to travel freely through the winter with no obligations to sort of stick around for jobs, because there just isn't really the work. So yeah, this kind of lifestyle works perfectly for us at the moment, and probably for quite a lot of people in the van situation. There's also a lot of work that you can get in the ski seasons in the winter, so if we wanted to be working through the winter as well, we could do, but for us, we just choose to travel because There's less people on the road. We just enjoy the freedom that winter brings. We don't mind the cold weather so much. I actually started this trip hating it, and I've kind of grown to quite enjoy it now. It's almost a little bit too hot in Albania at the moment for me, but we're English, we're never happy with the weather. So yeah, we just love the freedom that actually travelling the winter provides for us. So at the moment, we're really happy with where we are in life and how it's working for us. And
I wouldn't say we have like super amazing jobs back in England either. You know, Ben's a chef at a beach restaurant,
which I love. I really do enjoy it.
I was previously running my own Airbnb business, but now I'm kind of looking for something a little bit different, a bit of a change of direction. So yeah, you don't need to have like a really super high paid job or anything like that. You just need to work a bit, save up, and we do that by living in our van when we're in England, because the living costs are like so minimal. We only need a bit of fuel to get to and from work. There's no rent, there's no electricity, everything, you know, we're completely self-sufficient. So living in a van is the cheapest way to save up while we're working in England.
Absolutely. It just shows that actually you really don't need a lot of money to be able to travel. For us, actually, if we wanted to live in the UK and get rent through the winter months and stuff, whatever, it would cost us more to live in the UK than it does to travel every month.
Yeah.
£600 per month is what we're spending. You try and find a rent and food and all of that and the bills for less than that a month in England.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not possible. So I think it's good.
Exactly that.
You really don't need much money to do what we're doing, and you don't need much money to have fun either, because the best things in life are free.
That's kind of why we choose to travel a lot around Eastern Europe, because it's really cheap here, and the cheaper the living expenses are, the kind of better we can live on the same amount of money. If we want to go out to a restaurant with some friends here, we can, and it's not going to break the bank. You can get a meal for 3 people for like less than a tenner. You can go and have coffee for less than £1. It's super cheap, and I think the same really is like living in, you know, travelling around Spain as well. That's also a very cheap country.
Yeah.
But then you've got the more expensive ones like France and Italy, and while we do enjoy them, it just does affect our quality of life, how much money we have to spend ultimately, because if we're spending the same amount each day, we can get more for our money in these countries than we can in the Western countries.
It is all mainly down to fuel as well, because the fuel has such a massive role in our expenditure. So everywhere the fuel's cheaper, we can generally enjoy ourselves a bit more, because we can go to the remote places, we don't have to keep thinking about how much we've got in the tank, and it works out a little bit better.
Unfortunately, that's why we haven't been able to travel around Northern Europe yet, which is something we would love to do, to see Norway and Sweden, but we just can't afford it. We know how expensive it is up there, so I think that's going to be something for way in the distant future.
Definitely. So I hope we've answered a few questions and cleared up some things that you might want to know about us and how much it costs and how we afford to travel. If you're interested in our travel series, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. We'll be uploading loads more videos about where we're going, who we're meeting, and what we get up to along the way. When we get back to England, we've also got the really exciting Bedford project we're going to be continuing, which will be refurbishing and renovating and building a brand new habitation box for the back of a classic camper. It's going to be an amazing series, so please stick around to check it out.
And if you want to find out more about like living and travelling on a budget, we've got a few helpful articles over on our website, which we'll leave the link below. And if you've got any questions, just drop us a message in the comments section. We'll be happy to answer them.
Absolutely. See you on the next video.